Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Beekeeper with Jason Statham. This movie is really good. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I'm going to try to stay as spoiler free as I can. It is an action movie, and probably one of the best action movies I've ever seen. There's so much goofy stuff in it. It's not just another one of those where, the main guy has a gun and he shoots everyone. He's a lot of like varied ways. It's kind of like Hitman that he deals with people. I do have some nitpicks. A lot of the major good guy characters are very bland. In particular, the two main detectives, especially the lady detective. She's always like, "Did you know that bees like to get honey, and beekeepers they keep bees, and bees they land on flowers." I mean, I'm kidding in some respects, but she does get really annoying. If you see the movie, you'll know exactly what I mean. Um, The bad guys are really fun. I really like the bad guys, and I really like Jason Statham's character. I like the whole archetype of just kind of a guy that just does stuff and he doesn't like talk about doing stuff. He's almost like a silent protagonist, but not quite because he does have a couple one-liners. But yeah, so he keeps bees. I'll give you the lowdown on the plot. It's a revenge story, where he sort of just goes around and tries to get people, and people try to get him. Kind of similar to John Wick. It doesn't have quite as interesting colors as John Wick, and I don't know if the action is as good, but it's pretty good. If you just want to see an action movie, I'd probably say John Wick. But this one, it's got great characters. I really like the bad guys. The main bad guy is pretty amazing. There's a couple of minor bad guys. The minor bad guy at the end is so fun. I really like him. And the minor bad guy at the very beginning, I'm terrible with names. But he's so fun. He's always like running around and starting trouble. And then whenever he gets cornered, he's like, "Oh no, I'll give you some crypto or whatever." Just chill out a little bit. And I really like that archetype. Saw that a little bit in that vampire movie with Nicolas Cage. Renfield, that was it. That movie was also pretty good. I don't know if I'll review it. But I'd say if you like Nick Cage, definitely watch it. If you don't, um, probably don't. It's pretty goofy, but pretty fun. Same thing with this movie. This movie is pretty goofy and pretty fun. Jason Statham is such a classic actor. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He just sort of puts out banger movies and then yeah. And you can see in the poster he's got all these bees coming out of him. So they say beekeeper a lot in this movie. If you want to go to the hospital, you could take a shot every time they say beekeeper because they say it like every 2 seconds. Especially the detective character I was talking about. Other than that, well, I don't want to go into spoiler territory. But maybe I will. But first, I'll just say, yeah, again, 9 out of 10. There's a couple nitpicks. Um, a lot of the talking scenes kind of drag, but I do think that the action scenes make up for it. And the characters are very fun. Some of the writing behind like the character motivations and why they do what they do is a little bit lacking, and I'll go more into that on the spoiler section. But anyone that just wants to go see it, and then come back, and I'll give you the spoiler section. Okay. So spoilers in three, two, one. Okay. So at the start of the movie, if you've ever seen a Kit Boga video, it was straight out of a Kit Boga video. This lady getting scammed. And then so the lady that got scammed kills herself, and then the beekeeper stumbles upon her, and then immediately the detective lady shows up out of nowhere, and she's like, "Oh, get down on the ground! You're in the house." And it's like, "What? Where did you come from?" It's kind of surprising that someone would sneak up on him, considering how much of a badass he is. But anyways, she's just like immediately pissed at him, and that's before she even finds the body. Like, what is your deal, lady? But yeah, and then over the course of the movie, she kind of grows to like him. But yeah, so at first she thinks he killed her mom, but it was actually the scam dude. So then he goes and he tries to figure out where the scam dude is, and then he burns down the place. That scene was pretty good. That had the first minor bad guy. And then the minor bad guy kind of tries to track him down, and then all that stuff happens. There's a scene that's kind of out of left field a little later on in the movie where there's a female beekeeper, and she's like the beekeeper that replaced him. So basically, the beekeeper is like a secret agent government position. There's like one beekeeper, and they're very important. And whenever the beekeeper is mentioned, people are like, "Oh my gosh, the beekeeper! They're like elite level, super badass, awesome mode," which is kind of fun, but it does get annoying after a while. I missed a couple of scenes because I went to the bathroom, but I think they were talking scenes, so I don't think they would have informed my review anymore. But I don't know, it might be better if you see those two scenes. I think they should bring back intermissions, but that's just me. Anyways, yeah, the first bad guy, he's really charismatic and fun. And then midway through the movie, Jason Statham attaches him. I don't want to spoil it because it's a really cool death scene. But yeah, so he goes away. And then the female beekeeper comes out of nowhere. And you think it's going to be like a really cool action scene, and it kind of is. But really, he just like throws a jar of honey on her and sets her on fire. I feel like they kind of hyped that up a little bit too much. That was definitely a letdown. Like, it was a long scene, they were shooting at each other. She had a cool gun, but just felt over too fast. Yeah, and then my other nitpick, the lady detective, she was like, beekeepers, they have to deal with defective bees that the queen sends out, and then they kill the defective bees because they're bad. And she's talking to like the head of the FBI, and the dude's like, "What are you talking about?" And it's like the second time that she just like interrupted the important FBI meeting, and she's like, "Yeah, bees are yellow or whatever." I don't know why that pissed me off so much, but it did. Um, yeah, though, and then at the end of the movie, she's like, "You know what? I like this guy now. I'm gonna not shoot him and let him kill, whoever, because they're bad." Yeah. Oh, I was gonna talk about my favorite part. So at the very end, the final one-on-one scene was with him and this guy with yellow hair. And before that scene, he shot him like right in the face, and the dude just did not care at all, which is like one of my favorite archetypes of characters. But it got like surprisingly brutal, especially for, just another standard action movie. And I really respect how drawn out it was and how intense it was. I think that was definitely the best part of the movie. Although there are some other really good moments, like the first bad guy dying or the elevator scene. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth seeing just for the sheer like amount of crazy stuff that goes down, because it gets pretty crazy. And it has Josh Hutcherson, who everyone likes, and he did the funny picture of him with his hands on his head and his elbows out. People really like that image for some reason. It's kind of a funny image. But yeah, the beekeeper, Jason Statham, pretty good. Pretty good. What else about the minor characters? Oh, I thought the big bad guy was AJ from The Sopranos, but it turns out that wasn't him. That guy retired from acting, so good for him. He's playing poker now or something. What a guy. I don't know. Is there anything else I want to say about this movie? It was definitely good, but I feel like action movies have too much talking nowadays. Like if you go back and you watch like Kingsman or Kick-Ass, which aren't really that old of movies, but they had such a nice flow to them. I feel like I kind of miss that. Like there's some movies that just have such a good flow. Like if you go back and you watch the Cornetto trilogy, like Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, they just nail it like effortlessly. And I kind of wish more modern stuff would take notice of that. Cuz you need talking scenes in an action movie, right, to give it stakes. But if you have a talking scene and midway through I just turn off my brain cuz I don't care. I don't know, you could just cut it. You could make a 1 hour action movie. I don't think that's something people wouldn't like. People love John Wick. That's just a really long action movie. There's like two talking scenes. John Wick, the latest one, which I really like, John Wick 4, has like 20 minutes straight of action scenes, and it is so cool. But yeah. I also saw Plane. Plane was okay. I don't think I'd recommend Plane, but it's definitely something to watch if you're really bored. But yeah, that's The Beekeeper. Pretty good. Some minor complaints, but good action scenes. Worth watching. For sure in theaters. A lot better in theaters than on TV, I would say. Just because action movies are so good in theaters. But yeah, Jason Statham, he's really fun. Really like watching him. Oh, I do have one more nitpick actually that I didn't say, which is that he mentions like twice that the lady that killed herself was the only person that took care of him. And he says that like two or three times. But she doesn't really do anything that kind of like would say that. Like they say show don't tell in movies, and the guy is just like, no, she's the best because she does charity, and she let me take the bees out of her garage, and I'm the beekeeper. Also, I thought it was really funny. He's like committing a crime. He's burning down this place, and he gives like his secret agent code name that no one's supposed to know about to some lady at the front desk. Why did he do that? I guess just to spook the bad guys, but still, that was kind of funny now that I think about it. Because she's just like, what's a beekeeper? And he's like, I'm gonna burn this place down. You should get out. He's like, all right, whatever. That's probably what I'd do in that situation. There's also something very like power trippy about one guy taking down like 50 dudes. So if you like that, you'll like this because there is a lot of that. I just kind of wish there was more really good one-on-one fight scenes like at the very end. There's a lot of scenes where like there'll be one guy, he punches him, he's like knocked out or dead, and then he'll go the next guy will punch him. He'll go the next guy will punch him. Although it's not like as boring as I'm making it sound. It's still kind of like, these are army guys. Maybe they'd put up a little bit more of a fight. Oh, I didn't even mention my favorite scene. My favorite scene, well, actually, it was the one at the end. But there's a part where he walks up to the army guys. He's like, "All right, guys, let's get in this huddle. We're gonna go and we're gonna save the day and we're gonna be awesome." And they're like, "Wait, who invited this guy?" He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, guys. I'm gonna go in there and kick some ass." It's like, yeah, that was pretty interesting. Yeah, the Beekeeper, Jason Statham, pretty good. Yeah, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.